My name is Niklas Svenningsson. I am working with United Nations Environment Program. I am head of the Sustainable Construction and Climate Initiative. I believe that now, a few days after COP15, we can say that the meeting was not achieving all that we wished it to achieve. But if we look into what actually happened, there are reasons for us to be quite optimistic. Because what happened is this. First of all, there was an agreement in principle to establish the Copenhagen Green Climate Fund, which will provide $30 billion between 2010 and 2012 to mitigation and adaptation measures all over the world. And up to 2020, it's going to increase its funding up to $100 billion per year. Now, this is very significant because it also enables all the countries to think very seriously about how they can reduce their emissions. And for all countries, developed and developing, buildings will be a key issue there. By 31st of January 2010, all countries are supposed to have announced their nationally adopted emission reduction goals for 2020. What is also very important to understand about this is that they were, at the end of the conference, although it was a real roller coaster with discussions and ups and downs and surprises, at the end, almost all countries agreed on the Copenhagen Accord. But because the process to involve all the countries in developing the exact text had not been followed, it was not possible to write this as a legally binding agreement, but it was written that the parties of the conference takes notes of this. But what we have achieved is a big, big step forward. And I think next year in Mexico, COP16, we are going to see a binding agreement. It is very important for us to maintain the work on common metrics simply because nothing has really changed about the reason why we need a common metrics. The science is still there and it's very, very solid. The fact remains that buildings contribute with a very large part of the global greenhouse gas emissions, and they have a fantastic potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So if countries are going to be able to reduce their emissions, they need to address the building sector. Now, this is still not going to happen if we don't have a common language to measure the impact and to measure reductions achieved so that policies can push the building sector in the right direction. So this is very important, but I also would like to say that it's more than only about climate change and energy efficiency. The metrics in the long run, I think, should be about the whole sustainability of buildings. And not only energy, but on water and indoor air quality and materials recycling and so on. Now, today we are focusing on climate change because that is the engine that is driving the train. But very soon, the next part, probably water, is going to come up on the agenda, and then the other issues as well. So we need to work on a broad front on the metrics, but of course, right now, still keep a very strong focus on the carbon metrics. And to the first General Assembly of the SB Alliance, I would like to say that your work is very, very important, and you are clearly one of the lead organizations in the international work on sustainable buildings. In UNEP, we see you as a very important partner to us, and we very much look forward to work with you into the future. So I would like to wish you a very good meeting. Thank you.